Welcome to the podcast that buffs your Hearthstone game. This is Velen's Chosen.
Not all who wander are lost.
Greetings, visionaries, and welcome to Velen's Chosen. Whether you're a competitive player, an arena specialist, a deck-building visionary, or just like having a bit of fun, we can help you buff your game and achieve your Hearthstone goals. Boy, howdy, do we have a goal today. And that goal is to get it in over 30 card reviews for your analytical pleasure and hopefully a little bit of amusement along the way. But joining us in this large endeavor that we have before us is your favorite Canadian, because I could say that, and mine, Eve Martin. How you doing tonight, Eve?
I'm good. I didn't realize there were that many. I just kept putting more and more pictures of the cards in our show notes, and I didn't actually count them. There's over 30.
Yeah, I counted them today. I think there's over 30. Yeah, it's quite a few.
Like whenever I got a bunch, I put them up on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, these look cool," and then, "Oh, these look cool," and oh. Like more and more and more. I'm excited.
Yeah. The hype train for the cards this last week has been awesome. Like, it just seemed like one card after another. It's just been, oh, that card looks great. Wow, that card looks great too. And I thought to myself, hello, power creep. It seems like I don't remember the last set where power creep was this strong. So
well, I'm not listening to any negativity. I know already there are people out there that are like this card or that card or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm just going to wait and see for all of them. And if it happens that one of them needs to be nerfed or something and is out of control, then we'll deal with it when it comes to it. But I'm not going to spend time being negative before anything happens, just in case it never does.
Right. I mean, certainly some cards will see play, and certainly some cards just won't, even though we really want them to. So,
Murlocs.
But that's just the way of things. I think Murlocs are going to definitely see play. They already do. So, anything that adds different ways to play them, I'm sure people will take up the challenge. So we'll see. Well, let's before we kick off the card reviews, let's get into the little bit of finer points about the news relating to them. So you can buy, the last dump of cards, because I'm sure they'll trickle them out until then, is July 31st. So that's next week. It's going to have Kibler, Peter Whalen, and Chris Sierra. It starts at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, and 7 p.m. CEST, and that'd be, Central European Standard Time? Is that what that is? Yeah,
I guess
I believe so.
So refresh my memory. Did they have 3 people do it before? Because I feel like it's always been duos. No, like how did they manage that?
No, there was 3 people. It's just what they prefer, I guess.
Because like one person's playing, right? Usually they have like the reveal where someone like picks a bunch of decks and then they.
They what?
Sorry, I froze.
I was like, and?
They try really hard to burn all the important cards that we want to see. No, sorry.
Yeah.
History back again. But yeah, no, I'm just picturing in my mind like one person playing and the other person like commenting as they see different cards that come up that are new and not a third person. But like these are all really good names. Peter Whalen, which I believe before the show we confirmed was Legendary Ferret.
Yeah, on Twitter. That's his Twitter handle. Legendary Ferret. Yep.
He's the guy that I would always go to be like, is this interaction going to work this way? How about this way? And he'd always have an answer. So if it comes to questions about that, he's our go-to guy. So that's great.
Yeah.
And Kibler is well loved in the community.
Yeah. He's just good TV personality. If Hearthstone I've often thought about this, maybe, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but like, if Hearthstone ever stops being a game, like in recent time, like, could Kibler host the nightly news? You know what I mean? Like, he just seems like he could be a news anchor. He just got the calmness, the suaveness, the the TV personality thing is just like he was born with it.
But he'd be so bored by that kind of thing.
Maybe reading a teleprompter may not be that exciting. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he doesn't have. Maybe he's not really a journalist. Maybe he's just really good at talking. Who knows?
So when is the last like cutoff before we can buy all the packs?
You can buy them all the way up until release date.
Okay.
So
I
I
have
think
some
you can
time
even
left.
buy them on release day before they release them. I remember last time they had release day, like I had my cards sitting there and they were saying, hey, you can still buy them, and you could go in and buy them on the shop. But I think once they drop it and make it the patch go live, I think that's when you can't buy it anymore. But unless they've changed something. What was that?
Have you done your pre-order yet? Have you bought the packs?
No, I have to wait until the end of the month. I have to
Yeah,
wait till
see
the end
how
of the month.
everything shakes out. Yeah, me too. I'm in that boat.
Yeah. Well, I actually I'm going to be missing 2 weeks of paycheck because I'm changing jobs, and school contracts are a little weird. Music teachers in Texas are usually on an August contract, so like first 2 weeks of August, no paycheck, none. So that's going to be fun. Also, no insurance for the month of August, so that's going to be fun too. Lord willing, nothing bad will happen.
Goodness.
So
I will pray for you. And that your wife is very understanding when you say, okay, we just need to budget a little bit of money for these cards that I need to get.
Well, that's why she says I have a podcast.
Right. 'Tis true. We do have Patreon, which helps us pay those bills in times of trouble. So for those of you who support us on Patreon, thank you so much for allowing us to buy those card packs.
Yeah. I mean, I farm gold a little bit too, so that helps. But yeah, it's this month, this particular go around, it's like, man, if it wasn't for the support of the community, they wouldn't be any expansion purchasing for me. So anyways, all right, let's get into it, Eve. We got a lot of cards to hit.
The exciting ones, I think, are that we finally got to find out who or what the cards were going to be for the League of Explorers, Saviors of Uldum, Sir Finley, Brann, Elise, and Reno.
Yeah, definitely.
So which one's your favorite out of the four?
I think Brann is my favorite just for, like, it summons King Crush, Well, let's just hit it right here. So the Brann legendary, the new Brann Bronzebeard legendary card is a 7-cost 2/4 minion. It reads Dino Tamer Brann. So a Scottish dwarf riding a T-Rex, baby. Oh yeah. Battle cry. It's legendary, of course. If your deck has no duplicates, summon King Crush. Huzzah! So of course everybody in Wild is like, Brann, and gets all the King Crushes. So,
but
I'm what?
Like, I love the flavor. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Brann riding on the back of a dinosaur. But is this actually good? Like for 7 mana to summon King Crush, and he does have charge, so he can hit face.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
you're getting 11, 13 worth of stats. And if you bounce them back in your hand, you know what I mean? So if you put bounce cards,
how do you bounce them back into your hand? I mean, in Hunter, you're going to build a deck with bounce cards?
Brewmaster. Yeah, it's totally doable, I think. You can,
But
we'll see.
Like, what does the rest of the deck look like if you're going, okay, Hunter, and on turn 7 I get King Crush?
Well, it's a Reno deck. It's a singleton deck, as some people call it.
True. That is part of the requirements. In fact, all of them are technically what we would call Reno decks, even though you can't say that anymore because Reno's actually like.
We're totally going to get Sidisi on the show, like, after the set drops, and I'm going to ask him about the 5,000 decks he's made to try and make Dino Tamer Brann work. That's what I'm gonna do. Probably even Duin. It'd be a good time to get Duin back on the show, if he's willing to come on, because his tweet cracked me up because he said for this card he about fainted and fell out of his chair.
Yeah,
because
like
immediately the mad scientist went into his lab in his mind, and that was it. Yeah, so it could be awesome. It could be really awesome.
Because King Crush is
'Cause
an
if-
8/8, right?
King Crush is a 9/9.
Oh, he's a
No.
9. Is he a 9?
No, he is an 8/8. You're right. No, you're right. He's an
Okay.
8/8. My bad.
He's an
I
8/8.
thought it was a 9/9.
And how
he's
much
a
is
9
he?
cost 8/8.
Okay, there we
He's
go.
a 9 cost card. That's
9
what I was
cost,
thinking.
8/8 with
Yeah.
charge. But like, that's not the end, right? Like just doing 8 damage to your opponent's face isn't like, okay, that's the end of the game. That's just like a big charge minion.
It's not unless you have both brands. If you run, twin brands, you run the first one and then you run that, so you get 16 damage. Which,
yeah, but that's in Wild. And that's
in
also,
Wild.
You'd have to make Brann stick for a turn.
But you could run pandas. You could run Youthful Brewmaster and then do it again.
How much is Youthful Brewmaster? 2 mana?
He's a 3/2 2-mana card.
Okay.
So
you could do that.
yeah. I mean, I think everybody's going to worry about how to bounce it, how to get, cheap copies of him and stuff like that. That's what people will try to do in a singleton deck. I think this card is actually going to be great in Wild and in just decent in Standard. I think it's a Wild card as much as anything, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
Because you
I'm
have all the
excited to
busted stuff
see.
in Wild. So which one was your favorite if it wasn't that one, Eve?
Sir Finley.
Sir Finley?
Yeah. I just
Well, what is
remember
he?
him being a staple of the Aggro Shaman deck, which was, for Aggro Shaman, you don't really like your hero power.
Yeah.
Because it's so not in tune with what you're trying to do. So pretty much anything Sir Finley gave you could be a way better option for you. So this time around, he's a 2-mana 2/3 Murloc. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, discover an upgraded hero power. So this is Paladin. And it'll be all of the upgraded hero powers that we saw. What was like the original legendary that gave us upgraded hero powers? You remember the name of her?
The original legendary? It was
TGT?
Justicar Trueheart. Justicar
Yes.
Trueheart. 6/3. I think she was a 6 cost minion. And she basically upgraded your hero power automatically.
Yeah, so all of the upgraded hero powers that are available from her, you can discover one. Which discover, right? Because you're not just randomly getting one. That gives you the chance to get something. Now, I have heard that this is going to be OP, but it is a Paladin card. It's not available to everybody. And the last Finley was neutral, which I think made it a bit more scary that you could put it in any deck. And also, this is your deck has to have no duplicates. So that does narrow down the kind of deck you can make for this as well, which I think keeps it in check enough for it not to be too crazy. Because I think, remember the even and odd decks, which everyone was like, that is, we can't bring that kind of thing back again for somebody to have a super powerful start, already at the beginning on turn 2. But you can't really plan which hero power you're going to get. Yeah.
You can't build a deck around him.
Right. And
Not
you don't
really.
know if the hero powers you're going to get as an option are going to synergize with your singleton deck. So I think it kind of gives that much of a 50-50 chance, kind of coin toss, that it's not going to be scary enough.
I don't know if that he's OP. I think he's very good because he's great stats for a 2 cost, right? A 2/3 2 cost that does a thing. It's a battle cry. It's not like it's a death rattle. It does have the condition of having no duplicates, which I think does lessen the card's individual power. You know what I mean? But it is one of those cards, I'm not going to be sad if I get it, but I'm not entirely sure that I want to be playing a singleton Paladin deck. I'm not sure if that deck will be strong enough to be competitive with.
Yeah, because a lot of the time, Paladin's hero power goes along very well with the decks that we've seen in the past. Now, I was talking to Hat, and he was like, actually, the Paladin decks out there right now aren't using their hero power at all. So, but you also probably wouldn't want to take those decks that exist right now and then make them singleton decks.
This is true. These cards are going to force builds, is what they're going to do. They're going to ask players to make the judgment of, do I want to even attempt to run a singleton deck in a competitive way to get these effects? I'm not entirely certain Finley's hero power thing is strong enough to make me want to run a singleton Paladin deck, to be honest. I don't know if that's worth it.
Yeah.
So
it is an interesting question. And I think it's so interesting that all 4 of them are like Reno kinds of
Yeah,
legendaries.
that's exactly what's interesting. I mean, obviously it's a harkening back to League of Explorers, but all 4 of them are asking you the same question, really. Is the effect I'm going to give you worth this? And I wonder if we'll see more cards that have that kind of condition on them going forward.
So for Reno, do you think the actual updated Reno is worth it?
Well, let's see. He is a 6 cost, 4/6 minion for mage. Reno the Relicologist, which is interesting because a reliquary is like a box you put the bones of dead saints in.
I'm thinking it's relic.
I know
And
it's
then
a relic,
ologist.
well, I was also thinking the Spanish word is relicario. So, it just makes me think of how all language is related.
I think Reno
anyways.
made up the word and it's not a real word. And he's
I'm
like,
going to be a relicologist.
relicologist. Exactly.
Hey there,
wow,
good looking.
you did his voice so well.
Well, I have a baritone voice, so it works.
Oh. So what does he do?
What does he do? Let us tell you. He has Battle Cry. Says, if your deck has no duplicates, deal 10 damage randomly, split among all enemy minions. So, is that worth having a singleton deck? I don't know. That's kind of a swing and a miss for me. I don't know. But then again,
because
it's enemy minions. It doesn't go face. It doesn't hit face. It just clears a board. Mm-hmm. But Mage has already had Reno builds and has proven that it can actually be a viable deck. So having a card that is essentially a board clear on a stick, that might be okay. I don't think it's terrible.
Yeah, because think of Meteor.
Mm-hmm.
That did
Meteor,
15.
Yeah.
But it did it to everything, including your own. And it also overloaded you.
Mm-hmm. No, Meteor didn't do it to your own. Meteor did it across that. You're thinking Volcano.
Oh, you're right. Volcano. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Volcano is what I was thinking of. Yeah. So it overloaded you, did it to everything. And this has a body, does it only to enemy minions. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminded me of how Cthulhu worked.
Yeah. And honestly, by turn 6, it might be able to clear a board. It'll be able to clear like an aggro board. But I don't know if if the board gets tall at all, it's going to be like, if it's Death Rattle, it's going to be,
It'll probably be affected by spell power.
No, it won't, because it's a minion battle cry. Minions spell damage does not affect minions.
Oh,
minions
okay.
Attack.
All right.
Because it's not a spell.
Right. Okay. Then, this is kind of looking less and less.
It's very lackluster for me. I love the flavor of the card and like how he's holding this blaster and he looks like he's riding a Bronco. Kind
his
of like a
yeehaw kind of behind him in the wind, and he's just like having the time of his life.
It's like, when do I get to shoot the big gun? Kind of thing. So, so there you go.
You know what? Rob in the chat makes a good point. The fact that things like this, the damage goes out one by one by one by one. Mm-hmm. It is good for getting rid of reborn minions and for things with Divine Shield and Death Rattles and stuff like that.
That's true. Could pop a lot of bubbles. Okay. I like it. Thanks.
Unless all of the damage goes out and then the reborn mechanics happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they do spawn and get clear. I think that seems to be my understanding of how the mechanic works. I'm not 100% sure.
Like it would do all of its damage and then all the Death Rattles and Reborns would go off.
Yeah, yeah.
It would at least pop Divine Shields.
Yeah, it'll pop bubbles. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not loving this card especially much. I don't know.
Yeah, the Reno was much more powerful. Classic Reno.
Mm-hmm. So, Druid gets Elise the Enlightened. She's been up in Tibet. That's what she's been doing, getting enlightened, raising her karma. She is a 5-cost 5/5. Battle Cry reads, if your deck has no duplicates, duplicate your hand. Interesting. It has to be the most interesting of the 4. Because if you have like combo stuff in your hand, and you play it once, they kill your Malagos, and you can play them again and do the same thing.
But
I don't
here's
know.
the thing, like, you want to have 2 of everything to make your deck more consistent.
Yeah.
And are you really going to take away 1 of every card you have in order to play this? In
Yeah.
order to get double of the cards that you have in your hand, which you could just put into your deck and then just have them? Like, I'm not sure which, like, a deck doesn't exist right now, which this would be very good in. Because you want to
Yeah.
have those 1s and 2s and 3 draws right out of the gate to go with the aggro druid that's out there right now. And you definitely don't want to only put 1 of each of those in your deck. Because there's a lot of really good cards and you definitely want 2 of each of them. So there would have to be a different kind of deck created for this that was like you said, combo. Some kind of combo in your hand in which you need more than you would be allowed to have in your deck of legendaries or something in order to pull off some kind of crazy combo for this to be worth it, I think.
Well, and honestly, as far as like class cards that have been revealed, sort of like spoiler alert, they have been almost no druid cards released. If you look through even the ones that we have for this show, there are no druid cards. So maybe there's more stuff in the works to help sort of redefine the class to where something like an Elise the Enlightened would be stronger. Because
there is
that's
Hidden
the thing,
Oasis, but yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah. But there's not many. I mean, when you think about, we've seen a few of the Paladin cards, a few of the Hunter cards, a good amount of the Warlock cards, a lot of the neutrals, things like that. So
yeah,
we'll see.
It's almost like they're hiding it. We don't know what druid's going to be yet.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if they had this very much planned out. Like, okay, if we release these too early, what will the levels of salt be like in the community? And if we release these other ones, what will it be like? And they probably weigh it and balance it and figure out, all right, we're safe to release these first. Go,
I do kind of wonder whether each of these legendaries is the flavor of something they've planned for this expansion. Like they are going to put out cards to support these different legendaries, or they just figured this is good flavor and they're standalone and see what kind of a deck you can make with them, kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's hard to
and
tell.
Rob makes a great point in the chat. He says, remember, most of the power is not necessarily in the legendaries. It's in the commons and the rares. And that's pretty true.
Let's look at some commons and rares then.
Okay, live. Thank you. Let's do that then. Bye.
Let's look at Mermy.
Mermy. I mean, how do you say that? Do you say it like Mermy or Mermy? I don't know.
It's a Murloc mummy, so it's a Mermy.
Mermy. Like, don't call me mummy, call me Mermy. Or is that an insult?
1 mana, 1/1 Murloc. It's just a neutral minion with Reborn. So this is
it's Mecharoo for Murloc.
Mecharoo, right? Mecharoo.
Because he's still 1/1. It's actually a fantastic card. If you think about it, he dies and he comes back exactly what he is. It's a fantastic card.
He's a Murloc. Does all the Murloc things. Buffs all your Murlocs.
Yep.
It goes right along with making mummies, which is a 1 mana legendary quest for Paladin. Play 5 reborn minions, reward Emperor Wraps, which changes your hero power to 2 mana, summon a 2/2 copy of a friendly minion. Now, all of the lore people came out of the woodwork for this card and was like, Paladins and necromancy?
I hadn't even thought of that.
We suddenly made Finley a paladin, and he's raising Murlocs from the dead. So...
yeah. What's a Murloc doing? Masquerading as a paladin, raising things from the dead. So he's really like a Palalock or a Warladin. I don't know.
Because here's the thing, like, a lot of paladin spells specifically do extra damage to undead minions. Because the whole theme and lore of it is like holy light. So like exorcism and consecration and all of these different spells that they have in World of Warcraft do extra damage to undead things. And now this paladin is like raising up mummified murlocs. So
Of any friendly minion.
Yes. Just like in the art, it's interesting.
It's Mermy. He's raising Mermy from...
Yep. It's a legit question. I'd be interested to know how the team answers it.
Go. You have 30 seconds. Answer. Go.
How do you justify a paladin raising things from the dead? Go.
Yeah. I think it has potential. I mean, being able to summon a copy of a minion for 2, especially if it's got a busted death rattle or like maybe some kind of, I don't know, effect. Aura effect could be good.
I just like the idea of this being paired together with a Murloc deck, right? Because if you can manage to play reborn minions, well, maybe we'll see more reborn Murlocs. I don't know. Or just like 2 Mermies, and then do the other 2 Mermies count? Because their count is summoned. Oh no, it says play, so that's different than summoning.
Play,
because they did say
play.
Reborn minions count as being summoned, but that wouldn't count. So just the 2 Mermies, and then whatever other reborn things you have in that deck, and then 2 copies of them. Is that good for 2 mana?
I think in Wild it's better. I think in Wild it's much better because they have all the busted minions that can come back. So it's also a way of, doing longer game shenanigans where you summon a copy and then you, for 2, then you bounce that copy back in your hand and then play it again and summon it again. And, you could get a little bit of redundancy happening, which could be pretty busted. I think it has a lot of potential. 5 reborn minions. I guess the question is how good are the reborn minions? How many of them are there going to be? And are they the ones you want to keep in your deck? You know what I mean? I think that's probably the question we need to ask because we haven't seen all the reborn minions, especially ones that can actually go in a paladin deck. So they could be totally just decent meh kind of minions, but it weakens your early game so much that the quest reward is not really that worth it. That's what I'm concerned about. So
well, they have said that they want these new quests to be mid-game rewards instead of end-game rewards, and 5 doesn't seem that big of a number to be able to play.
No, it really doesn't. But if it's all like 1/1s and you're trying to figure out a way to put out a bunch of 1/1s or 1/2s or 2/2s or something like that, you're gonna die. You're gonna get crushed by something that involves giants and conjurers calling and
yeah, that is kind of the elephant in the room, isn't it?
Yeah, just a bit. So they might nerf some cards too. Who knows? So
well,
all right, let's move on.
They said they had no plans before the expansion, so I guess they're hoping to see how things shake out after all these cards land, and then afterwards make a decision. Expired Merchant.
It is a 2-cost 2/1 minion, rare, and it reads Battle Cry. Discard your highest cost card. Death Rattle. Add 2 copies of it to your hand. Interesting.
Battle Cry. Discard your highest cost card. So
you know what this
gives you.
You know what this is crazy for? This is like, I guess I'm just thinking in Wild because all these cards seem like they just make Wild be more busted. But Blood Reaver Gul'dan. Discard your Blood Reaver Gul'dan because it's a 10-cost card. Put 2 copies of it. So you play it, get all your demons, go face. Your opponent weeps and cries, tries to get rid of them, but somehow successfully gets rid of them, and then you play it again.
This does it will show your opponent what you discard.
Yep.
So they know what's coming down the pike. And I mean, Death Rattle. So they could silence this and then kill it.
They could.
Which would kind of be your only tech. But it's made to die. It has 1 health.
Yeah, this card, no big deal. This card has got a short life. I like this card a lot. I think this card opens up some very interesting mechanics. I think it can.
Well, another cool thing is that there's still a lot of discard demons in Warlock out there and cards out there. So you know which one it's going to discard for you because it's your highest cost card. So you wait until the moment where it's the perfect one that you want to discard because it has some kind of ability when it's discarded. Yeah. And then get 2 more. It seems interesting.
I like
for
that.
Sure.
they refined the discard thing, because usually discard stuff is just discard or random, discard or random. This one says discard your highest card. So, aha, I know which one's going out of my hand, which I think makes it much better.
Absolutely. Okay, Hidden
Next.
Oasis. The one druid card that I can see here. 6 mana, rare spell for druid. Choose one. Summon a 6/6 ancient with taunt, or restore 12 health. 6 for a 6/6, or 6 for a 12 heal.
If you get the quest done, this is good. Right? Because the druid quest is, if I'm not mistaken, it's both choose, you get both choose ones, right?
Right.
So restore 12 and get a 6/6 taunt. Hello. Survival, longevity of game. Could be good. And it's a spell.
Do you remember that one that lets you have both cards in your hand? Like the choose one and then it splits into 2 separate things in your hand?
Oh, Steladris?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could tan him. This was Steladris. Really good.
It's like a big control-y druid card, which is not my favorite kind of druid.
Yeah, it's not the druid. You're down with the tokeny minion-y type of druid, yeah?
It's not the druid I'm looking for.
These aren't the druids you're looking for. Womp womp. Okay, should we move on to this really, really crazy busted card?
It looks
This is
so
called-
good.
It's a hunter card. It is a hunter epic beast. And it's a 6 cost, 6/9. It is called the Wild Bloodstinger. Big, giant, wretched-looking scorpion thing. And it reads, Battle Cry. Summon a minion from your opponent's hand. Attack it! Ye gods. So pull that Reno Jackson out of your deck. See again, back to Wild. And kill it. Pull that Elise the Enlightened out of your hand and kill it. And you don't get the... you feel super bad because you just made a singleton deck and you lost the point of having it altogether. Oh gosh, this card's going to be so nuts. Because
And
it's like...
only in Hunter.
Yeah, it's only in Hunter. Why does only Hunter get this card?
I don't know.
Oh.
I guess to make it more balanced so we don't all have this card, because we've seen this effect before in the past. Not the attack the thing as soon as it gets out of their hand, but definitely the summon a minion from your opponent's hand. And that is super powerful to break up people's things they're trying to do. And
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
pretty expensive.
and it's big, but it's got good stats. A 6/9 for 6 is good. You know what I mean? Because it's likely to survive whatever it's pulling for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 9 health probably.
So, I mean, oof. There's all kinds of disruption in this card for combo decks. This is like an anti-combo deck. I like it.
Yeah, it's really powerful. I mean, it
I
is
like it.
a
And-
bit later game because it's 6 mana, but still.
Well, read the next one, Eve. If you could tandem this one with it. Oh my gosh.
Another 6 mana, 5/5 beast, Scarlet Web Weaver. Battle cry, reduce the cost of a random beast in your hand by 5.
That's
so
ridiculous.
you could make Wild Bloodstinger 1 mana.
Yep. And you can tandem it with something else, and oh gosh, it's just it just seems these two cards just seem really overpowered. Like they just seem like Hunter has not been bad, ladies and gentlemen. In case you've been under a rock for the last 3 or 4 months, Hunter has been really good. And to have these two cards released makes me think that they just want us to play Hunter differently, because these are like
Yes.
control cards, you know?
Like maybe they'll
They
be a
can
little
do
less
stuff.
angry when the nerfs come down the pipe if they have an alternative that they can play that's also
Yep.
fun and powerful. Like,
Both of
here,
them
have
are
some
epics, though.
spiders.
So I
Yes.
think there's going to be, when I notice when epic cards like this exist, not everybody has them right away, like on opening day, because they're more
Yeah.
expensive and people have to decide if they're worth the craft unless they pull them both. So
And there
will
definitely have
see.
been epics before that looked really juicy and then saw
Mhm.
fringe play. So that's kind of the danger too of crafting it right away on day one, is like, are they actually going to shake out to fit in any decks? So yeah, I hear you. We're probably not going to run into these on every corner after the
Yeah.
expansion goes live.
But if somebody like figures out something really busted, it could be like a stampede to get those cards. So we'll see. All right, up next is Bizarre Mugger. It's a rare rogue minion. It's 5 cost, 3/5. reads Rush Battle Cry, add a random minion from another class to your hand. So it's the random card thing, but it's adding a random minion from another class, not just the opponent's class, but another class. So you could get something crazy like a Velen or King Crush or something like that.
Somebody that just got mugged.
Mm-hmm.
Kidnapped?
So it's a
maybe?
class card. Bizarre Mugger. But it's 5
that is
costs.
exactly what I was thinking, right? Because class cards do tend to be a little better than normal, right? So that does kind of spice it up a bit. And it could be a legendary.
Spice it up a bit. Yeah. It could be. I don't have a lot of hope for this card because it's a 5-cost card in a rogue deck.
Yeah.
And it's only a 3/5, and so it can do a little bit of clearing, and it gives you a fun random effect, but I don't know if that's good enough to make it good. So,
well,
for me, the jury, I'm pessimistic. So, what?
You do want more of those cards that create card from another class in order to trigger those combos that are like, if you have a card from another class in your hand, you can do this. And there aren't a ton of them out there. So you might want to put it in there just to make sure you have more consistent, I have a card that can give me something when I need it so that I have it to enable the combo. But yeah, you're right. 5 mana is a lot for a rogue.
Sure.
You should be able to do something more powerful.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that should be able to do something more powerful.
Go
ahead.
The
Desert Obelisk. Did I pronounce that right? Obelisk?
I've always thought it was obelisk, but you say obelisk, people know what you mean.
Okay, obelisk.
Pointy things. Washington monuments, if you will.
5 mana, 0/5. If you control 3 of these at the end of your turn, deal 5 damage to a random enemy.
Is it per obelisk, or is it just 5 damage? Because you have 3.
Well, you're gonna have 3 of them, so they're all gonna do damage. Because each one of them reads this way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
what do I have to do to copy
damage.
it, though? You know what I mean? Like, how
That's
do you...
the question, right?
It's a 5-cost card. It's not like that's a 3-cost card where I could do it like late in the game. It's... I get one out there, I get another one out there, and somebody says, "Oh, I see what you're putting down." No, you don't get to play that game, and then they clear your minions without losing any of theirs.
Like, Priest has ways to copy minions, but they usually silence them first. So
yeah.
that wouldn't do them any good.
This is not a Priest card, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean,
bad
like,
Summoning Stone, yeah.
If you have
I think this card is
0/5 minions, then you can do 15 damage to a random enemy. Well, each one of them will do it to a random enemy, so it'll be like 5 here, 5 there, 5 there.
Yeah, but like, how do you... Unless there has to be a card out there that enables this, because this just seems really garbage to me. I don't usually like to say that about cards I haven't seen, but like, I've been thinking about this one. Like, how do you do it? How do you get it out? I guess I'm just not imaginative enough, but this, or there's just not the right mechanic out. But it's an epic. It's an epic. You know what I mean? So somebody's gonna pull this card and go, "Ah, man, how am I supposed to do this?"
It's a ton of flavor, but the only other thing I can think of is, you remember back when they were like, if you have a hunter with no minions in the deck, then do this. And we were like, that is so horrible. Why would you play hunter with no minions? And then everyone was doing spell hunter. So,
Rock Dalar, you mean? When the rock that was the condition for the weapon. Yeah.
They were like, where's the rest of the cards to support this? And then they came out with To My Side? Is that what it's called? Yeah. So maybe there's other things out here that are suddenly, we're going to see the card and be like, oh, that's going to make that work. And then
maybe it must be duplicating effects or something like that. It's cheap, or like duplicate this minion on both sides or something like that. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
But for now, by itself in a vacuum, not good. All right. Next one is,
there's one in Druid already that does that. That is summon copies of each adjacent minion.
Oh,
it's like Gloop Spewer or something like that.
Oh, Gloop Sprayer. Yeah, but it's too expensive. So you'd have to play this. It'd have to stick, and then you'd play. I think it's like a Gloop Sprayer is what you're thinking. Is it 4 cost?
And you'd have to play 2 of them because to get 2 adjacent minions. Yeah,
it just seems
awful.
like
Yeah.
it just seems really, really difficult to pull off. It's meme-tastic, right? I mean, somebody is going to figure out how to do an OTK with it, and then we're all going to eat crow, and that'll be that. But right now, I'm just going to keep that crow pie in front of me because I don't think it's good.
If Toast was still in the game, I would say this was a Toast card.
Didn't he like willingly give up a reveal because he's not into the game anymore?
Exactly.
Like, didn't I see?
That's why I said if he was still in the game.
Yeah.
He's kind of playing other games so much that he was kind of like, I don't feel good taking this card. But like, I think that Toast is such a household name that he could have done it and it would have been fine. But he sort of went, you know what? I think it should go to somebody else who plays Hearthstone at the moment. So
that's fair. A noble thing to do. All right, next one is a Warlock minion. It is an epic card. It reads Rift Cleaver. It is a 6-cost 7/5 demon. Battlecry. Destroy a minion. Your hero takes damage equal to its health. Interessant. I like it. I like it a lot. Remove a minion, build a board, even though it takes damage. Very Warlocky. It's a very, very good card, I think.
And Warlock still has cards that are good if you do damage to yourself on your turn.
Yep. Things happen. So, and it's destroy a minion. It could be one of your own minions, for crying out loud.
Yeah, just in order to trigger something, which is like you need to take damage on your own turn. I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're right. You might want to trigger something like for its death rattle as well.
Yep.
Good call.
Yeah, so it's
Evil Recruiter, 3 mana, 3/3, Warlock, common minion. Battlecry, destroy a friendly lackey to summon a 5/5 demon.
Deal.
So you're going to have a friendly lackey on the board, but man.
Rogues proved that that's not hard. Rogue has proved that is not difficult at all. You know,
you're gonna have to want to get you're gonna want to get rid of all of Warlock's lackeys as soon as you see them because a 5/5 demon is serious.
Well, think about it. It's not just the 5/5 demon; it's a 3/3. So on turn 4, you play your lackey. You do whatever the lackey thing's gonna do. You play this guy following it. You kill that lackey, that 1/1 Lottie freaking da, because you get a 3/3 and a 5/5 on turn 4.
Yeah, it's
good. I think this is a zoo card. I think this is a very good zoo card. So
this next one is super cool too. 3 mana common hunter spell, Hunter's Pack. Add a random hunter beast, secret, and weapon to your hand. You don't even need to combo anything.
Yeah, just do it. Here's 3 mana, get this stuff. Somebody was kind of being salty on Twitter. I don't remember who it was. They were saying like, I thought you guys said that Hunter's strength is not going to be drawing cards.
Well, it's not going to be their strength, but this is like 3 mana, but then you have all of these things that you still have to pay mana for, and also it's going to be a random hunter beast. You never know what that's going to be. Could be something totally useless. Secrets are a little more reliable. Hunter has really good secrets. And then weapon, the pool of weapons right now should be fairly small.
Yeah.
It's just very random. And I'm not sure if that's good in this case. I don't think it's going to be played.
Yeah. I don't know. It just depends on what the pool is, I think. Because Hunter's secrets are generally good. Hunter weapons are generally good. And the beast thing is probably the weak thing. But we'll see. With Zul'jin, it's kind of cool, right? Because you play Zul'jin late game, you get it all back in your hand.
That's true. And I mean, they do play right now the spell that gives you a secret. Or doesn't it let you discover a secret?
Yeah. It's, I can't remember what it's called. But it's a discover a secret, I think. Cool. Next one. So. This one, I love the card art on this card. It is awesome. It's so cool. It's called Bloodsworn Mercenary. It is a warrior epic minion. It is a 3-cost 3/3 Battlecry. Choose a damaged friendly minion. Summon a copy of it. That could be good. So it's more than just a 3/3. A little bit situational, but you're getting a lot more stats than what is shown on the 3/3, and you get some dope art to look at. So I love it.
And it's got a body because you remember Warrior used to have a spell that was summon a copy of every damaged minion on the board, and it was never played ever.
Yeah.
But because this at least has a body of its own and it's got decent stats, I think it could definitely see play.
Who knows? What's next?
Fish Flinger. A 2-mana, 3/2 Murloc, a neutral. Battle cry, add a random Murloc to each player's hand.
Interesting.
I don't think you really care about giving your opponent a Murloc. Unless...
Because it could be anything.
Yeah. It could be just like a 1/1, you know. And then, wouldn't you be happy if you did it at the right time to make them burn a card next turn?
Put a tiny fin in their hand, and all of a sudden, which I don't even think is in standard anymore, but then all of a sudden they burn their combo piece.
Yeah.
Oh, feels bad, man. Yeah, it's a decent card for what it does. Effectively you get a card and you get a strong 2-cost body. So 3/2 can trade. So
yeah, it's decent. I like it.
And in tandem with that, go ahead, Eve. I'll let you read it. It's good.
Tip the scales. Paladin epic spell. 8 mana. Summon 7 Murlocs from your deck.
Whammy. Just pull them all out.
Now, this doesn't really go with the making mummies quest, so it's got to be a different thing entirely.
Yeah, it'll pull. The thing is, it pulls Finley without the battle cry. You know?
Yeah, but if you just want to get Murlocs out and buff them all up, I just want to, yeah. Because unless they have charge.
Yeah. I mean, it's expensive for what it is. I mean, if you get a bunch of stats, it's okay. I think, in a Murloc Paladin, it's probably good, but what Murlocs do I want in Paladin, that is? Because the best Murlocs are all in Shaman right now. Yeah. Maybe they're going to give us some more Murlocs. In Wild, it's probably much better. In Wild, it's much, much better because, you have Old Murkai and you can smash face with a bunch of Murlocs on deck for as a clear. So.
And isn't anything can happen Paladin as well?
Yeah. In that case, it rebirths it. So this could precede anything because this is an 8-cost, and I think anything can happen as a 9-cost card. You play this, you clear all your whatever leftover Murlocs you have. You play turn 9, you have everything you wanted and more, and you go to face and you win. So Sunday, Murloc Palooza Extravaganza.
I'm excited about all the Murlocs. I just don't. It isn't all coming together as a solid deck yet. I just need to see some more.
Yeah, and I think that's the intent.
And ideas and excitement, but not quite anything solid yet. So,
one of the things I am noticing though about the Murloc art is it's not consistent. I don't really like this artwork here. It's very, not very. The art direction in this card is, it's not as cartoony as some of the other stuff has been. If you look at Finley and Mermy. And even the Fish Flinger, it's a little bit more caricatured, a little more nuanced. And this is just mindless eating machine Murlocs,
Well, actually, the color scheme says to me that they're trying to show specific Murlocs. Like the blue one would be Bluegill Warrior, and then the green one would be the Chieftain, and then the kind of purplish gray one would be Old Murkai, and then they have the white one and the yellow one. They're all supposed to kind of stand for specific Murlocs that you would like to get summoned out of your deck.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of doing specifically each one of them, which would all be different art styles, it's just kind of like a color scheme of the different Murlocs that you're going for that you want to bring out of your deck. So, yeah. I don't know. I see what you're saying, though. It is a different art style than the other Murlocs.
Yeah. Anyways, it's just a minor squabble. Quibble, if that's the word I'm thinking of. All right. Next one is which I will be crafting at day 1 because this is just what I do. A 5-cost Anka the Buried. It is a legendary rogue minion. It is a 5-cost 5/5. Has battle cry. Change each death rattle minion in your hand into a 1/1 that costs 1. So Death Rattle Rogue is coming back. We still have Death Rattle cards that are relevant in Rogue. So, and I'm blanking out on the what's the we have Necrium Vial, and that's a thing still, right? The weapon that triggers stuff. So if you,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested to see what they have in terms of what Death Rattle minions come out in Rogue.
And there are just some good neutral ones as well. That if they were
Mhm.
1 mana, that would be
Like-
really good.
Cairn, just Cairn is good.
Yeah, and that robotic
Mechanical Whelp.
whelpling. Yeah, exactly.
So my Mechanical Whelp is no longer a 6, a 2/2 that costs 6. It's a 1/1 that costs 6 and gets me the same amazing advantage. So I am excited about that. I want to try some of that shenanigans. And let's see here. Yeah, go ahead.
Cloud Prince is a mage minion. It's an elemental. 5 mana 4/4. Battle Cry. If you control a secret, deal 6 damage. This is
That seems pretty good.
upgraded. You remember the one from Medivh's
Medivh's
adventure?
Valet.
Medivh's Valet. Yeah. Except for this
Mm-hmm.
is 6 damage, and it's just deal 6 damage, so it doesn't have to go to a minion. It can go to face.
That's incredible. That's awesome. So you put on a hard to trigger mage secret,
Yeah.
and bada boom, bada bing. Because Medivh's Valet is played all the time in Wild, because that's the only place you can see it. So a 4/4 body for 5 that does 6 damage on a stick, the condition is easily met, I think. Because especially if you play it with Violet, what's that mage? The 4/3 that makes your secrets cost 0.
Oh, yeah.
So
Or don't you even get like a free?
Yeah, you get the secret for free, so you pay that for 3. So turn 8, you can swing a board.
Right.
It's not bad, not too shabby.
Oh, yeah, Cloud
interesting.
Prince Elemental as well. I don't know if Elemental Mage is a thing.
Well, speaking of mage, I noticed this today, but I always play with the Medivh mage hero portrait, and the Fire Festival greeting is the voice acting from the Medivh card from One Night in Karazhan. He's like, "Happy Fire Festival." He's kind of like jovial, but all the other ones are the dark brooding Medivh, like, nothing can stop me, nothing. He's all broody and dark, and it's definitely not the same voice acting.
And then
I thought
Happy
to myself,
Fire Festival.
Happy Fire Festival. It's just like, guys, this is not consistent with the flavor. The flavor is very not consistent. Please do something. Because I was like, I could go that way. I could have Medivh be that way. But the card art does not reflect the mood. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's hilarious, though. That's so funny.
Yeah. Anyways, the next card is another mage card, which I think is pretty good too. It's a rare mage card. It is a arcane flak mage, 2 cost, 3/2 body. After you play a secret, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. So turn 5, play this guy, play your secret, play this guy, clear the board. Boom. That's not bad. I mean, mid game, this card's all right. You know what I mean?
This is amazing.
Mm-hmm. I think they want a control mage. I think they're looking for another control mage variant.
I mean, it's got a weak enough body that it's not like oppressive, but still.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a lot of damage for mage, a lot of clearing, they are doubling down on the whole class identity thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 6 damage, and this 2 damage. This is a lot of damaging. But keeping the bodies of the minions weak enough so it's not like we got a lot of spell damage and we also got a lot of minion damage as well. It's more weak bodies, and then it's making me nervous, Grant.
You don't like the mage? You don't like the things that the mage does?
When mage gets powerful, man, I don't know. They get competitive with the kinds of decks that I like to run, and then it's like a race to see who can kill the other person fastest. And mage can kill people fast.
I think you need to come over to the mage side of things and just learn the arcane arts. Develop
Just
this
embrace
love
it.
Embrace it. Love it. You came over to the druid side, not the build the big stuff and smash you in the face with the combo, but like you did come over, which I never thought would happen.
Me neither. I didn't think they were ever going to make a deck that I liked. So yeah, I don't know. I do tend
You
to
just don't like playing control.
minion-based combat. Yes, control is not my favorite thing.
But you could grow as a person.
Wow. I feel attacked. With a splitting axe.
No. We always we always want to encourage personal growth. Whatever the areas in our life need growth, and your control game needs growth. Apparently,
It does. It does. Like the only time I ever played Freeze Mage was that brawl, the tavern brawl, where they brought back all of the old winners of like BlizzCons and things like that, and you like randomly would get a deck made by one of the winners of BlizzCon, and
like Firebat.
Yes, yeah, I wanted his, but I ended up with Freeze Mage for some reason, and I was like, okay, this goes against everything I stand for, but I'll play it just to get my pack.
You're a sellout, Eve. You're a sellout.
I needed my tavern pack. But yeah, you're right, though, because the more you learn about your enemy, the more you can play better against them when you come up against them on the ladder. So
Very true. Very, very true.
got to get inside their head and figure out how they work.
True story. All right. Next one is what, Eve?
Splitting axe. This is a shaman, right? Sometimes
Yeah,
the
shaman
colors
card.
around the bottom are a little hard to figure out what kind of weapon it is. But yeah, okay.
The
4
text
mana, 3/2.
makes it a shaman card.
Oh, battle cry. Summon copies of your totems. Oh, duh.
Lord, please, God, let this be a shaman card. As if it's a warrior card. I don't know what we're going to do here. Warriors summoning totems.
Copies of your totems. Yeah, you know what?
What a world.
They've tried to make totem decks good in the past, and they just never really have been, because totems are weak. Unless you have one that's called a totem golem, which
That's
is
what I was just about to say.
super awesome and strong. And I'd be willing to have him come back anytime to standard. Summon copies of your totems is just not super powerful unless you're letting shaman suddenly buff things. I mean, they do have their, what is it, Bloodlust?
Yeah, but it's copies of... I'm sure if they had a perma buff on them, I'd probably copy them.
Right.
But they're going to have sleeping sickness once you summon them. So if you had like 3 tokens, Bloodlust, then this, you have
this is not...
three tokens that can't do anything, but they're Bloodlusted, so...
It is an epic.
Yeah.
So those are always kind of situational, but it could just be a card as well, unless we see something more like a totem golem out there, which is like a good card that's a totem. I don't see myself wanting to do this for any reason.
Yeah. We'll see.
Convince me.
I think somebody's going to come up with a great way to use it. Next card is a rogue card. It is a weapon. It's called the Hooked Scimitar. It is a common, so everybody's going to have like 5 of these, in the first pack. And it's a 3-cost 2/2 weapon. It reads combo, gain +2 attack. So 4/2 weapons in rogue. It seems to be a pattern emerging, like the waggle pick. It was a 4/2, but it did a really busted thing, like bounce something back in your hand. So, but this doesn't do that. It just, it's a mana less, so you can do some real clearing. So, turn 3 if you use your
technically it's not a mana less because you
this.
have to combo to get the 4, so it's like whatever the other card costs, unless you're doing the backstab.
Backstab into this, but still using 2 cards to just clear a board. So could be good. Who knows? So keep in mind, in Odd Rogue, they hero power 2 cost for a 2/2 weapon. So it's not that bad. I think this is appropriately statted. I think it's going to be pretty decent as far as weapons are concerned. We'll see.
You
if it
can
has
have
a
all
place.
the rogue ones, so you can take the next one.
Oh, okay, cool. Next card is indeed another rogue card. It's called Whirl Kick Master. It is a 2-cost 1/2, and it reads: whenever you play a combo card, add a random combo card to your hand. Whenever. So you can cycle the crap out of this. So this has late game as well as early game application. Most combo cards are good. SI7 Agent, Eviscerate, just to name a few of the good ones. Edwin Van Cleef is a combo card, so that'd be pretty sweet. So it's combos. We're going to call this Whirl Comboception
Would
Master.
you call Edwin Van Cleef a combo card?
Edwin Van Cleef is a combo card. I mean, well, and now that I think about it, No, because he's not a combo card because it doesn't say combo.
Oh, yes, it does. You're right. It does. It
Does
says
he say
combo,
combo?
gain +2/+2 for
Oh.
each other card you played this turn. You're right.
Okay.
Edwin
I thought
Van
I knew.
Cleef.
He is my spirit animal, so I mean, I guess I thought I was right about that, but then you cast doubt in my mind.
I thought it was just gain +2/+2. I didn't realize it actually said combo before. You're right. He is. My bad. I apologize.
No apology
you know
necessary.
your stuff.
I know some of my stuff. But this card I think is actually pretty good. I think this card has got some good refill possibilities.
Yeah,
But the
I
only
like it.
the only downside is it's random, but I think most combo cards are good.
And I mean, Rogue already deals with random a lot, like getting a random card from your opponent's class and things like that. Like, yeah, I think it's still good, even with the randomness in it.
Well, let me look. I just looked it up real quick. Like the variety of combo cards, just things to think about. Like Defias Ringleader combo card, Cold Blood. Just saying. Evil Miscreant, Headcrack, Perdition's Blade, SI7 Agent. Those are all good. And Crazed Chemist, which is a very strange one that nobody plays. It's a 5-cost 4/4 that's combo, give a friendly minion a +4 attack. So how would you like that coming out of nowhere? Like, haha, he can't possibly have 4 damage because I know he hasn't hovered over that and pointed that at me. Oh wait, what's this card? Oh no, they have +4 attack. I'm dead. It could be good. We'll see.
I mean, card generation late game where you put this down and then you just start playing 5 cards in a row could be big page.
Could be
turner, game
awesomeness.
turner.
It could be. It could flip a game. Well, I mean, that's what Rogue does, right? They flip boards and come from behind and all that good stuff. All right, what's next?
Very good. It's a turtle.
A turtle.
Is a turtle. He is Tortolin Pilgrim, and he looks amazing.
The art's
looks
awesome on
like
this
maybe like he's supposed to be a monk. He's got like a big staff and then like this magic around his hand, but it looks like different elements. It's like purple and blue and red, and it just looks really cool. Epic mage minion, 8 mana, 5/5 battle cry. Discover a copy of a spell in your deck and cast it with random targets. So this is a bit more narrowed down, like quite a bit. Number 1, discover. And number 2, what's in your deck. So if it specifically says targeting enemy minions, then you don't have to worry about it accidentally killing your own stuff.
Yeah, if it's like a flame strike, it
So-
just burns the other side. If it's an arcane intellect, it just casts and you get cards.
Yeah. Like,
I think it's pretty decent.
you're still going to have the spell in your deck. So this is just creating another one. It's going to cast it for free.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is an 8 mana 5/5, but still, it really reminds me of the shaman teach a spell to the eldritch horror thing, and then when you cast it, it just casts the spell. That's
Sure.
what the turtle reminds me of, and that it could be
It really
really
does.
strong.
Well, and it's written in such a way as to where if you thought for a second about putting Pyroblast in your deck, you probably don't want to, because you could Pyroblast the minion, you could Pyroblast your face, so. But in
You
terms of
probably
like
use
board
this with
clears, it's
removal,
awesome.
right? Yeah,
With,
exactly.
like AOE one-sided removal is the way to go, I think, with this one. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's really good. This next one, though.
This next one is exciting. All right.
1 mana 1/1 Mogu Cultist,
It's a neutral minion.
which gives it to everybody.
Yep.
You may all try this. Battle cry: if your board is full of Mogu Cultists, sacrifice them all and summon Highkeeper Ra. Wait a minute, Grant. This requires you to have an entire board full of Mogu Cultists.
Yep.
So there has to be something out there that might also work with Desert Obelisk. Because otherwise,
This
how
is
are you going
true.
to get an entire board full of Mogu
Yeah.
Cultists?
Yeah, you're right. How would you do it? I'm not good enough to think about it. What copies minions so easily? Like, oh, I know what it is. In Rogue, you can do the Togwaggles. Is it Togwaggle Scheme? Is that what it is? Where
Make an
As long as
entire
it's in-
deck full of one minion? Pick
Yeah.
one minion and make your entire deck copies of it?
well, no, it just shuffles a bunch of it into your deck. So as long as Togwaggle Scheme, I think, is in my hand.
Oh, am I thinking
can-
of a treasure that's like in one of the adventures,
I think
which
you're
is like
I think
pick
you're
a
thinking of a
card
treasure.
and make the rest of your deck copies of that card. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah, the card is called, let me find it. Where'd you go? I don't have it. I just look in here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I was right. Togwaggle Scheme is a 1-cost card. It says choose a minion, shuffle 1 copy of it into your deck. So you could shuffle like 20 of those into your deck and just have them drop 6 of them, drop 7 of them in a turn, and bada boom, bada bing. You probably win.
Because what comes next, Grant?
You summon High Keeper Raw, which is a 10-cost 20/20 minion. So, and then at the end of your turn, Broski deals 20 damage to all enemies, meaning the other side of the board is clear, and they do 20 damage to the face of the other character, and that's at the end of the turn. So if it sticks, it'll do it again. So Pog Champ to the max. I mean, it's just the maximum amount of hype for this card. Oh my goodness.
I just
If
want to
you can
see
pull
this
that
so
off.
bad. I want to watch this animation because you got to put out that last Mogu Cultist because its battle cry is if your board is full, sacrifice them all, and then up comes Highkeeper Raw. But you remember we had that. You had to have 2 copies of that ooze, and then at the end of the turn, they combined to make that other big, huge thing.
Yeah, like the blood ooze or whatever that was, and then
Yeah.
it brought out the
Corrupted blood, I think it was, or something.
something like that. Yeah, I can't remember
Nobody
what it's called.
ever played that.
It was
But
a meme card.
It was just huge, and it just sat there though as a massive thing.
Well,
but like Highkeeper Raw does something at the end of a turn.
Well, it's because you would have to play a large, high statted cost minion that you couldn't play 2 of them in a turn.
Yeah.
You can play 7 of these in a turn. You can. The trouble with the card is you have to be able to do things like survive until you can put it down. And then you have to put it down and have nothing else on the board. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not easy. Somebody asked the question, what if we have a token on the board that's like one of the immovable tokens, like, say, the darkness, and it's on the board, and you have 5 of these, and then the 6th one, does it still work? Because it doesn't say if you have X amount of Mogu Cultists on the board.
It just says
if your board is full. And so what does that mean? So it's just food for thought. But a 20/20 that deals 20 to everybody else and not to you, it seems like it's worth. And if it gets bounced back to your hand, you can still play it.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody like returns it, if it gets sapped back in your hand, you can play it. So sap does nothing.
But the question remains, how do you get 7 Mogu Cultists? Because there's probably not going to be another card called Mogu Cultist.
No, I just told you. You use Togwaggle, Scheme, and Rogue. You just throw them all on your board, and you just draw through your deck.
Yeah,
but the problem is that's neutral. Very slow. Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a way for people to do it other than just Rogue.
Yeah, I don't know that those mechanics have been revealed yet, or those methods, I should say.
Like, both Mogu Cultist and Obelisk have to have something out there that we're waiting to see that is, like, a way to copy.
Copy mechanics.
Copy. Emperor Raps. Summon a 2/2 copy of a friendly minion.
So you could summon a 2/2 copy of Broski here, but then you'd have to keep it from dying, you know. That's pretty slow, though. That's really slow.
Every turn.
Because if you ever tried to do the Uther, like the Death Knight Uther hero power, where have you ever tried to keep those things alive if you can't do them all on one turn? It's really, really, really hard. Which is why you had to bounce them back into your hand and then drop them all in a turn. That's the only way that deck worked. So we'll see.
We have to look into all of our cards that say summon a copy of and see how we can make this work. All right.
I'm sure it'll be solved a day 1 or 2, I'm sure. So all right, next card. As a Nubasath Warbringer, it is a neutral common 9-cost 9/6. Reads Death Rattle, give all the minions in your hand +3/+3. So there was a card called a Nubasath Sentinel, right?
Yes.
From League that was similar. and it gave a +3/+3 buff on death rattle to a minion on board. See, the trouble I'm having with this card is its cost and its late game appeal. So great, yeah, I buff all my cards in my hand, but by late game, do I really want to have a lot of cards and minions in my hand?
Yeah, that's what makes this so even or, unplayable.
Yeah.
Because it's so
Seems
late
good.
game.
Seems good, but maybe in a galaxy, Luna's Pocket Galaxy where it costs 1 and then does it, that's pretty good. But
and you also have to kill it because it's 6 health.
Yeah, it's
a death rattle.
You don't want to leave it on the board for sure because it can hit you in the dome for 9. But I don't know. Seems just too late game. It's too little, too late. Day late, and $1 short. Even though you get +3/+3. This next card's not too bad though. Eve, what is it?
4 mana, 3/5. So that's a bit faster. It's a beast for Warlock, but an epic one. Diseased Vulture. After your hero takes damage on your turn, summon a random 3-cost minion.
Not too shabby.
So in turn 6, you hero power after this is down. Do damage to yourself, and then summon a random 3-cost.
Seems okay. I mean, 3-cost minions are seemingly strong,
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there are any out there that are, super bad.
Well...
do bad things to you. You know how there's ones that are, take damage and make you discard cards, and they have, a good battle cry, but then the death rattle's bad for you, and you don't get the battle cry, you just get the death rattle. Is there anything like that in the 3-cost
Warlock.
group?
There's the Warlock one that's, is it Howlfiend?
Yeah.
Is
that 3 mana?
I believe it is because I've had it show up on me before. But it's not in standard right now, so...
Because remember, sometimes there was a chance of it coming out of wasn't it the Hunter Secret, which is summon a 3-cost minion?
Yeah, the Wandering Monster. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Howlfiend is a wild card.
Oh, it's wild. I've
had that happen before, where the Wandering Monster summons a Howlfiend, and they just hit it with a bunch of little 1/1s, and I discard my whole hand over and over and over again. So,
whenever you want to summon a random something, you'd really want to know the pool.
Yeah.
Back when Evolve was a thing, it was I can evolve all of my totems, but I might get a Doomsayer.
Yep.
So.
That's the risk you take. So, next card is a neutral rare minion. It's called Nephroset Ritualist. It is a 2-cost 2/3, so good vanilla stats. Battle Cry, restore adjacent minions to full health. So in Arena, this card's awesome, right? Because everything's about value. A 2-cost 2/3 is a good card just for board presence, but it can help you bring longevity to your minions in standard. It might be okay for a tokeny deck. Or a mid-range deck if you're just trying to keep your guys alive and win the board control battle. Seems like an alright card, you know what I mean? Full health.
A lot of tokeny decks want to pull out more than one minion at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always worth it to have something that just has one come out and then heals up the other ones. I'm just trying to think of whether I would throw this in my druid deck to be if there was a bunch of damage to my what are the trees called? Treants.
Mm-hmm.
Would I put this out? Would it be worth it to have it in my deck to put it out to heal them up to full health?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there's not a lot of times when we're playing standard that we leave an enemy's minion damaged and alive. Right? You either attack and destroy it or you go face.
Mm-hmm,
because if you can't destroy it, sometimes it's just worth it to put all that damage to somebody's face.
Yeah.
You almost have to do damage to your own minions sometimes in order to get healing things off in Priest.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's true. Hard to know.
So this next card, one, the Warrior spell. Give all taunt minions in your hand +2/+2. It's 1 mana rare Into the Fray, but I'm just no, please, no more Taunt Warrior.
Well, it's funny. It's like they went into the vault and they looked at cards that everybody wanted to be good. Do you remember? I remember JR from Well Met talking about this. A card called Bolster came out.
Yep.
which was a 2-cost spell. Give your taunt minions +2/+2. And JR wanted that to work so much. He even called it like, I want to make a turtle warrior. I mean, this was years ago. And it just couldn't work. It just wouldn't work. It was high hopes and no delivery. But this one, it's a 1-cost spell, and it buffs all your taunt minions even more, but then they're in your hand, so you don't have to have a board for it to work. You know what I mean? You can just
Yeah,
cast
you don't
it.
have to make it stick. You don't have to get it out there, turn by turn by turn, and then put a big buff out. You put it while it's still in your hand. You're talking me around to this, Grant.
I think it could be okay, because we've also seen, like in Paladin, like in buff mechanics, like some of the cards that just buff stuff, everything in your hand, like +1/+1. Buff your minions. Grimesteed Enforcer, Grimesteed was that other guy, that goblin. That buffed everything. I mean, those are...
And this is
it's a one-time deal.
+2. Like, the reason it's 2/2 is because it's only to taunt minions. But for 1 mana...
Vargoth plus this, so it does it twice. So on the end of your turn, you've done +4/+4 to all your taunt minions.
Oh my gosh, no.
Seems okay. Seems like it could be okay.
I don't want to go up against this kind of deck.
Well, Eve, if you can't beat them, join them. Get after it.
I mean, Warrior already has a super powerful deck that they play all the time, so...
But they don't run a lot of taunt minions anymore. But this really makes your Ziliax much better. Just got 2 more health. Oh, yeah. So, we'll see. Okay, next one is a hunter. It's a hunter card. It's a spell, and it's called Pressure Plates. Common, 2-cost, and it's a secret. After your opponent casts a spell, destroy a random enemy minion. Oof. That's dope.
What if they don't have a minion out?
Then it probably doesn't trigger. Because, like, all the Paladin secrets, like Never Surrender, where if you don't have minions on the board and they trigger a spell, that doesn't go off because there's no minions to buff.
If that's the way that works, then yeah, that's the way that this would work too. Then
the hunter masters that I know are saying this is a good secret for the toolkit. They're not freaking out over it, but being able to just like nix a minion just because you did something, deal. Because they're gonna like, ooh, do I want to play the coin, or ooh, do I want to play this secret, or whatever. It's gonna make
so many different ways to test for secrets. You have to attack a minion, you have to attack face, you have to put a minion down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cast a spell.
And the next card is called Norville Shaggy Rogers. I mean, Frightened Flunky, which is a warrior card. And you'll understand why I said that in a second. It is a warrior card, common, 2-cost, 2/2, reads Taunt, Battlecry, discover a taunt minion. And the card art is basically Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I mean, I don't know how they got away with this without getting sued.
It's so great. Like, seriously, this is some of the best art they've done in Hearthstone. It's just, it's really great.
I mean, only thing it's missing is him going, like, zoinks! Scoob! Let's get out of here! Anything, I don't know.
And Frightened Flunky is like alliteration and also awesome name. Mm-hmm.
So, card has potential. 2-cost, 2/2 with taunt that discovers one. It's just like Stonehill Defender. We know that discovering a taunt is a good thing. So if you're running Taunt Turtle Warrior, this card probably is a great early card to get rid of stuff with. Because you play this on 2.
Taunt, so you get this.
And you play Stonehill Defender and Wild on 3, and you're off to the races. I wonder if they're going to have a Scooby-Doo taunt that looks like a dog.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Maybe so. Or maybe that'll be in Hunter.
They've ever had beasts in... Yeah, they do, because they had that monkey taunt back in the day.
Oh, yeah, sure enough.
So they've had beasts before.
Yeah. All right, what's the next one, Eve?
Infested Goblin. Oh, it's got like a whole bunch of scarabs.
Like clawing on his back.
Yeah, it's a 3-mana 2/3. Taunt,
Rare
Death
neutral.
Rattle, add 2 1/1 scarabs with taunt to your hand, and the scarab is a beast.
Man, Quest Warrior and Wild is going to be so fast. Play this Shaggy on 2, discover a 4 or 5 cost taunt minion. Play Infested Goblin on 3. Play the Scarabs. There's such within 2 or 3 turns you've played 4 taunt minions of the 6 you need.
And if you
Rag
play
shots to the
Into
face
the
by 6.
Fray with all of this taunt stuff in your hand and give them all 2/2, then that's a 1-mana 3/3 beast with taunt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2 of them, because you get 2 scarabs from Infested Goblin. So,
And they're in your
Oh,
hand, so you can
dear.
buff them both. So 2 3/3s for 2 seems good. We've seen that before, you know.
yeah.
The mimic the demons that says stop copying me in Warlock, 3 cost, and if they get buffed, they retain it and they are exact copies of each other.
Yep.
That's strong. And
the
the
last
one,
Go
which I
ahead.
think is really, really neat card art. Looks like a mummy ethereal kind of thing. It is a neutral minion, common minion. It's called Wasteland Assassin. It is a 5-cost 4/2, but it reads Stealth and Reborn. So it sits there, kills a thing, comes back again and kills another thing. Not bad, I mean, if you think about it.
If it's exact same, then it has stealth the second time around, too.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's got some potential. I mean, if you copy it on the board and having 2 of those, that's a lot of stats, a lot of board clear. It's basically a clear card. That's the way I think of it. You know, 4/2 is meant to die. It's meant to run into something and trade it, like kind of like Huffer. So, and you can't do anything about it until it's time to clear the
Consecrate.
board. Yeah, but I mean, you have to use a consecrate for 1 or 2 for one of those, only to get another one to come back.
Tis true.
You know,
You make a good point.
I think it's actually pretty decent
And that's all of the cards we made.
for now.
We
made it.
Yes, you're right. It's not all of the cards, but we got all of the ones that have been revealed up until when we're recording.
Yeah, when card reveal season comes down, we don't even have a side topic because we just have a 4-hour show.
Yep.
As it is, we're at 1 hour and 23 minutes, Eve. I don't know if you've been looking, but so anyways, card reveal time is one of the most exciting parts of the year. Once we get if there's opinions in the community that you'd like to hear about cards, once we kind of get the meta starts coming out, what people think, or once the rest of the cards are dumped, let us know for guests to have on. If there's people you'd like to hear, I'll try to get them, because I'm not always sure who you guys want to listen to, so let me know. If Eve, where can people find you if they want to ask your opinion on guests and subject matter and other things?
Well, I read the Discord constantly. So I'm not always super active in it, but I always read it. So if you ever ask me a question on there, then I will absolutely answer it as soon as I can. So like, don't be afraid to ask questions in the lore or any other segment, because I keep on top of that. Other than that, Twitter, I'm posting cards whenever I see them. Lore Master Eve on Twitter, and yeah, that's me.
That's Eve. If you want to find myself, just find me on Twitter sphere at WatchmanHS. Friend me in game at Watchman #11.
40.
What is it? 40. It's blanked out. I need to look at my. It's because it's getting late. If you want to find all things Velen's Chosen, just head on over to velenschosen.com. You can connect with us on Twitter or Discord. Like Eve said, ask us a question. We will respond. We have lives, and so we don't just camp out in our Discord all the time and just kind of start conversations. But if you ask us anything, we will do our best to respond. I get most of my questions in game where people say, "What should I craft this card?" or "Is this deck any good? Is it worth crafting?" And I just offer my best opinion that I can come up with at the time. For now, I wouldn't recommend crafting anything. Save your dust for the new hotness coming out. If you'd like to support the show, you can do it by heading on over to patreon.com/Velen's Chosen Podcast. We appreciate any and all dollars and cents that you give us. It helps us keep our website up, and in times of job changes or hardship, it helps us to keep playing the game and bringing you the best content we can bring you. If you want to support the show non-monetarily, head on over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review or a 2-star review, depending on what you think of the show. We'd be happy to read it. I don't want you to give a 2-star
Eve
review,
does not
but
support
if you feel
2-star
compelled
reviews.
and you just feel like you would not sleep at night if you didn't review us honestly and give us those 1 or 2 stars, then I understand and I don't fault you for it. But we will read it on the show. It helps us get noticed in the search when people look for Hearthstone podcasts.
Unless you're a big meanie. In that case, we won't.
if you're a big meanie, I'm going to take my ball home and go home. Ball and go home is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, all right, that does it for the show. Eve, sign us off.
Not all who wander are lost. Bye, everybody.
Take care, folks.
I foresaw this.
Did I miss it?